All right, great. So here we are. This is Rob Dunfey. He's also local here in Las Vegas, and he's going to be talking a little bit about some traffic strategies and some ideas and giving us some free tools as well. So let's welcome to the hangout our good friend Rob Dunfey.
All right, guys. So we're going to go over some ways that you can get started building a home-based business online. I'm going to share with you how to find an idea, how to research the best idea, and all the way from that first start point all the way to the end to starting to build your first website.
All right, if you want to grab a seat here and you can kind of jump on. And so we're going to put this there as well. Then you're just going to have to click on each slide too. So they should be able to see your screen.
So you guys should be able to see the screen right now. Now, with starting to look for a business online, you first want to start with finding a good opportunity. And over the years, I've started about 3 dozen or more websites based on opportunities using a tool that I really like, which is called the Google Keyword Planner. It was referred to in the past as the Google Keyword Tool, and essentially what it is it's Google's way to keep track of what everyone is searching for on the internet. There's no other better tool out there on the internet which keeps track of people's searches. So underneath in this image here, I'm going to blow it up a little bit in the next slide. I've got 3 keywords. I've got bartending school San Diego, bartending school Los Angeles. You'll see the difference in the average monthly searches versus bartending school, which has 33,000 monthly searches, versus something like bartending school San Diego, which only has 720. And then the next column over, you'll see competition. Now that's Google's way to gauge basically how difficult it would be to rank a website for those keywords. So you want to look for an opportunity that has medium to low competition. That will be easier for you to get a website up to that first page or to those first few spots of Google. The next lines are suggested bids. We'll get into that a little bit later. But this is just a glimpse of one of the ways and the tools that you can use to find opportunities on Google. So if you have an idea about some things to start, go to the planner, type them in, and see what the traffic is like, see what the competition is like. Okay, next. Larry talked about this a little bit earlier, so I'm not going to get too deep into this, but there's several things that you can sell online. You don't necessarily have to sell something that you yourself have created. You can be an affiliate of someone else's product or service, or you can even sell an MLM product. But you do want to make sure you always start with the Google Keyword Tool or the Google Keyword Planner. Next, where can you sell? Now, there's several places that you can sell your product or service. It doesn't necessarily have to be on Google. You can go to marketplaces like ClickBank, eBay, or Amazon. You can have affiliates or other people / internet marketers sell your stuff for you. You can guest post, and I'm going to get into exactly what that is a little bit later. Paid email blasts, and essentially what that is you can get other people who have thousands of people on their list to blast out sales emails that will direct people from their list to your website. And lastly, search engines, and that's going to be the segue into this next part. We're going to talk about exactly how to get traffic to your site from search engines. Okay, so the first step is to find keywords. You have a website, you've developed a product or service that you're going to take to market. The next step is to find keywords. So my rule of thumb is for every product or service that I have, I want to find at least 3 good keywords for that product or service. And there's a few ways to do that. You can look up synonyms of the product or service that you're trying to offer. So down below here, I have house cleaning as a potential keyword. Now some synonyms might be cleaning service Las Vegas, house cleaning company. You can spin your product or service name around to get multiple keywords. Now, there's 2 types of keywords essentially. There's your regular keyword which has kind of a broader sense, and there's a long tail keyword. Now I've got an example of each on the board now. A long tail keyword is a more specific keyword, and that's going to drive more targeted traffic to your website. Essentially, it's going to be easier to rank on Google for a long tail keyword versus a regular keyword. If you're trying to get a website up for house cleaning, you're going to have to do a lot more work than trying to get a website up for house cleaning Las Vegas. So start by looking for some of those long tail keywords. They're going to be a lot easier in the long run to get your website up. Once you've established rank, then you can kind of get to those more generalized, more broad keywords. Next, you want to find a keyword-based domain name essentially. Now, this is ideal, so if you are searching for, you're starting a business on Las Vegas house cleaning, it might be a good idea to get a domain name that's lasvegashousecleaning.com or something similar to that. Now, the facts are that about 240 million plus domain names have been registered as of today. So it's going to be very difficult to get the exact domain name that you want. Okay, so there might be some variations, there might be a few things that you might need to try and get creative to get the domain name that you want. We'll get into that a little bit later, but the first thing I want to cover is really how to choose the right domain name to start. You want to keep it simple, short. You don't want to use hyphens or numbers in your keywords, and ideally .coms are generally the most the highest regarded type of domain. Now you can get into .nets. They're going to be releasing later this year hundreds of new TLDs like .school, .name, .menu, and essentially what this is going to do is it's going to flood the market and bring down the price of some secondhand .com. So for example, if someone already owns LasVegasHouseCleaning.com, now it might be $1,000, but later this year it might only be $200 because all these new TLDs are going to be released. It's going to bring down the price a little bit. Now, one of the tools I like to use to find a domain name is called Panabe.com. And essentially what it is it's a really neat tool where you can just type in your keywords, and what it does is it automatically searches to see what keywords what domain names are available using those keywords. And here's a few screenshots of this system. So in this, I'm not sure if you can see the image too well, but I have wrote in here kids skateboards. So you have a few domains like kids skateboards or skateboard kids or skateboard for kids. It spins it all around. And what's really cool about it is it also gives you synonyms, so you can mess around with different synonyms, and it will tell you every domain that is available using those synonyms and those keywords. So it's a really cool tool.
See, we can make this a little bit bigger for the folks here too. Make it much easier for them to see. Okay, is that you guys see it a little bit better now? See if we can go a little bit bigger. 1 second here.
That's okay.
It's a little bit bigger. That's fine.
That's okay. All right, so. All right, so the next place is where to buy the domain. Now, of course, through Panabe, you can buy through Panabe. They're going to give you an affiliate link. Generally, they might cost a little bit more. Where I typically go is I go to oneandone.com. They've got really cheap domains. Typically, I'll never spend more than $7 or $8 for a domain. If you look for specials online or on Facebook, I generally can almost always find domain names for $1 to $3. So that's a really good source. If you go to a place like GoDaddy.com or Register.com, you're going to pay anywhere from $13 to maybe even $30 for a domain name. And if you're buying a few of them, it can really add up quickly. Expireddomains.net is a really good place to find domain names that people have owned in the past, but those people who have owned them have chosen for whatever reason not to renew them. So they're coming back on the market, expired domains keeps track of all of those domains, and you'll see a list of all the domains right there.
Real quick, good question, Rob. Are the
Yeah.
expired domains, are these ones that are coming up, or the ones that have expired in the last 30 days? What specifically?
I believe these are all, for the most part, ones that have just expired. I think that also there's a small portion of them that are coming up to be just expired as well.
Awesome. Good resource.
Key strategies. Okay, so once you have a domain name, you now have to start marketing that domain. So there's two main types of marketing online. There's SEO, which consists of basically on-page and off-page SEO, which is basically you're trying to get your website ranked for a search engine. In this type of marketing, there's no cost per click. It's all organic. So the Google is looking at different backlinks to your site. They're looking at how your site's designed, and they're giving your site a ranking on their search engine. And then secondly, you have search engine marketing. Now that's more of a cost per click basis, and typically with that you're paying the search engines or you're paying an ad agency to place your website, your content at the top of the search engine or on other people's websites. Next, focus on the big guy. You want to start by looking at going straight to Google, going straight to where the traffic is. It's going to be the best use of your time. As you can see here in the image, Google accounts for roughly 65% or more of the total search engine traffic currently aboard. Now this image is actually a little bit old. It's from 2011. I believe now Google has more than 70% of the search network share. And actually what is not listed in this pie graph, which is currently growing, is actually Facebook. More people are starting to turn to Facebook to do their searches because they're already in there for their social networking.
Or YouTube, right?
Or even YouTube, exactly. But YouTube is pretty much Google. Google owns YouTube, and YouTube will appear in the Google searches. I mean, as you see here, you also want, after you have mastered Google, you want to look towards Bing. Bing is really the second best. Between the Yahoo sites and the sites that they have their search on, they account for roughly somewhere between 20 and 30% currently. See if I can get this to scroll down. Okay. All right, so SEO. So we've already talked about what exactly SEO is. Here you have pay-per-click ads on top and on the side, and you have the organic search results here. Now, what's really interesting is this first result here, small business loans, typically will get 40 to 50% of all clicks or all traffic that's going to search for business loans. These other guys, which are below number 3 position, really don't get very much clicks. So you always want to really aim to get in those that first spot ideally, but those first 3 spots definitely. And if you can't get there, then you want to look towards those pay-per-click ads. And to get on the pay-per-click ads, we'll cover that a little bit later on exactly how to do that. Okay, so here's the breakdown of what I was going over earlier. So you got to aim to be number 1 in Google. 42%. This is from 2006, so this is a while ago, but it's still pretty close to that. But 42% of the traffic is going towards number 1. And as you see, as you get down to number 7 through 10, they're getting like 3% or less of the total traffic. It's really not very much at all. Here's another graph that you can see here, as that it starts up around 35% and then it drops down to pretty much 0 once you get down to the 13th spot. And why it goes down to the 13th spot especially is because those are typically on the 2nd and 3rd pages. I have some facts down here for you. 95% of web traffic goes only to their first page. So typically what a person searching does after they have gone to that first page and they don't see what they want, they're going to search for a different keyword, they're going to search for a different term. Okay. Next, PageRank. Okay, PageRank is basically Google's way to keep track of your algorithm or how to rank you on their search engine. So Google assigns each website a score between 0 and 10, and a 10 is basically the best, the most valuable content, the most valuable web resources, which Google gives a high authority to. Now, PageRank of 0 is typically given to websites that have just started online, which don't have much authority, which might not have much content, which might have just been developed on the internet. And I'll give you a fact. It's probably about 90% or more of all websites are actually a PR 0. So it's very difficult to get it to a PR1, PR2, even a PR3. Now, I believe right now there's probably only a few hundred PR10s. PR10s would be like Twitter is a PR10, Google is a PR10. Facebook actually has been bouncing between a PR10 and a PR9. So that just shows you how difficult it is to get a really high page rank. Now, there's a really cool tool that I use personally. It's called PageRankChecker.com, where you can type in any website. You don't have to own it, and it's going to tell you what page rank it is. Here's a screenshot of PageRank Checker. It's going to show you the page rank, and this is my personal website, and I've done SEO on it for about 5 years now, and it's still only a PR3. So that just shows you it's very difficult to get a high page rank in Google. It takes a lot of marketing. It takes a lot of networking with other sites to try and build backlinks and build authority for Google. Next, fake PRs, okay? So there's actually things called fake page ranks. So if you're searching for a particular website or maybe a competitor site, it might say that they have a page rank of 3 or 4. There's a particular symbol under the page rank that will tell you if it's fake or not. And a fake page rank is basically a domain name that forwards to another one and carries the page rank of the domain that it's forwarded to. So when you're searching for page ranks, the bottom line is make sure the box here is green. If you see right here, if that's red, it means the page rank is fake. So if you're looking to buy a second-hand domain name and you're looking for something to buy with a high page rank, make sure it's green there. A red is a bad sign. People can manipulate the Google search ranks. They can manipulate the backlinking and use forwarding and all types of black hat stuff to try and manipulate that. So make sure it's green.
Now, Rob, you just used the term black hat.
I'm gonna cover exactly what black hat is a little bit later.
Right.
Essentially, it's a type of SEO that you do that uses kind of deceptive tactics, and it's just generally not recommended. It's not highly regarded by Google. It can get you into some big serious trouble. Okay, so PageRank strategies. Here's how. Okay, so you've got a website. You're starting to optimize it. How do you get a higher page rank? Okay, so we've already covered symbols. You want to look for links from high PR sites. So for example, you can reach out to other people's websites who might be selling something similar to you, take their domain name into PageRankChecker.com, see what page rank it's giving you, make sure it's showing you a green page rank, not a red one, and then ask them if maybe they'll do a guest write-up on you, or they'll put a link to your site. Or perhaps you can even go into expireddomains.com or .net and buy an expiring domain name that already has a page rank and already has links going to it and forward it to your domain name. So that's another thing that you can do. And here's a screenshot from Expired Domains, and it's a little bit small, but what's really cool about it is in this particular search I've typed in skateboard. And it pulls up all of the different websites that are expiring or coming expired that have skateboard in the domain name. And then at the next column it has the page ranks, and you see here green versus red. Those red ones are fake. You'd want to steer clear of those. BL, backlinks, so backlinks are very important. Another way to verify if a page rank is real or not, if you have a website that's a PR4 but has 0 backlinks to it, there's something sketchy going on there, and that might not actually, that page rank probably is not going to stick around for a very long time. And so as you see here, what's really cool about Expired Domains is they grab all of these domains from all of these other very popular domain name listing sites. GoDaddy, Sea-Doo, NameJet, it all filters, it all feeds right into expireddomains.net. And what's cool is if you're looking for some a particular keyword in your domain name, you can actually create a free account here, set up email alerts here, and it will send you an email every time maybe a PR3 or PR4 is released with your desired keywords. And that's a really cool tool which really not many people know about or know how to use. Okay, so here's some other free tools. I'm going to go over each of these now. These are some tools that I use with my business. First is Traffic Travis. I covered these a little bit earlier in some of the webinars, but I'm going to go a little bit more into depth with them now. Again, this is a free tool, Traffic Travis, and it's going to go through. Traffic Travis shows you the page rank. It shows you the number of total backlinks. It shows you the top 5 backlinks to that site. So essentially what that means is these are the backlinks that are forwarding to your site, that are giving your site the most value, that are passing your site the most authority. Okay, so these are the most valuable to your site. And what's cool about the Traffic Travis is you can have a competitor's site in here and just scroll down on the software and compare it back and forth with your own site. And you can see, okay, my site's a PR3, their site is a PR2, they have 2,000 backlinks, I have 200,000 backlinks. So you can go back and forth. Another really cool thing about this is let's say you want to, your strategy is to build backlinks right now. You can open up a competitor's site, see what backlinks, where they're getting their backlinks from, and then contact those sites and say, hey, I saw that you have my competitor's links on your page. How about how about you put a link to my own site? So that's really how Traffic Travis is incredibly valuable. Now for backlinks, Traffic Travis is great, but it doesn't always. It's not the best tool in terms of seeing all of your backlinks. The best tool, the highest regarded tool for most internet marketers is MajesticSEO.com. This is the kind of hands down the best, most accurate tool. It's a free tool. I think you get a limited number of searches. I think it's like 2 or 3 sites a day that you can check in, and then you have to upgrade to their paid plans. But they give you a credible amount of information just by using the free tool. So here's a pretty new domain name. It tells you, it gives you the breakdown of the backlinks. It tells you also what the anchor text on the individual backlinks is too, which is really valuable. So you can really see all the links that are pointing to your site and what keywords are going to your site. So anchor text essentially is if you have a link to your site. In this particular one, it's whistlerskateboardcamp.com. So the anchor text generally would be maybe Whistler Summer. It looks like probably Whistler Summer Camp, and then Whistler Skateboard Camp would be the second most popular anchor text. And the anchor text is important because that's what Google says. Basically, it's saying to Google what your site is about.
Could you describe once again? We got on the question on the feed. Anchor text, define what that is for a newbie again.
So once again, anchor text is you're building a backlink to the site. Those are those underlined colored links in a page. For example, right here, anchor text. So that's an example of anchor text. It's something that you can click.
It's a word that's clickable.
It's a word that's clickable with a line underneath it that's going to take you from one website to another or one web page to another. Exactly. So it also shows you the types of links to your site too. So you have, for example, Google doesn't just look for anchor text links to your site. It also finds iframes, it finds images, it finds redirects. So if you're actually also advertising on an individual site, you've gone and reached out to an individual site owner and you've put image ads up on that site. Believe it or not, those ads, even though you're paying for the advertisement, they're also transferring authority over to your site as well. So Google looks at all of that, included in Majestic SEO is a great way to keep track of all that. And then here on Majestic SEO, they actually show you the very first date that those links appeared as well. So you can keep track of when new links are coming into your website also, and it shows you trust flow and citation flow. That's a ranking, I think, on 0 to 100 or 0 to 50, and the higher the ranking, basically the higher the authority is that that those websites are, that those links are. It's really cool. Compete.com. Okay, so this website I use to see the traffic of other websites, my competitors' websites, or even my own websites. It's also a great tool while researching potential opportunities online. So if you wanted to, for example, start a website or service that dealt with transportation, you might go in and look at some of the current websites that are ranking for transportation and see what their traffic is. Why start a website, why start a business when the competitors aren't getting any traffic and when they might not be making any money? I mean, in order to make money, you have to have traffic. So pull up those competitor sites on compete.com and see how much traffic they're getting into their website. It gives you a month to month, I think, for about the past year on compete.com. Now, for the most part, compete.com is free. If you go in there and try and put in some websites, typically very small websites, it's going to ask you to sign up. And compete.com is a very expensive service because they are very good at what they do, and pretty much everyone knows that they have amongst the most accurate listings. So they charge about $500 to $1,000 a month. So it's very expensive. However, for someone who's just getting started, you can sign up and get a free 30-day trial and then just cancel your membership, cancel your account after you've done a little bit of research as well. I've done that a few times. So compete.com, that's a great tool. Another tool is Alexa. Alexa is a little bit different than compete.com, and that gives you a little bit more data about where that traffic is coming from. And it basically Alexa assigns a ranking to almost every website on the internet, starting at 0 and going up. So essentially what the Alexa rank is it ranks sites based on their traffic on the internet in comparison to other sites. So for example, this site here, limos.com, it is the 13,000 most visited website in the United States, and it's the 57,000th most visited website in the world. So basically, the lower your Alexa rating is, the more traffic your website is getting. The breakdown on Alexa is perhaps the most important part, though. It tells you the genders that are going to the website, what their education is, the browsing location, whether it's school or work. So I mean, if you're making a certain product and you're targeting a certain market, Alexa is a place you want to go to and get all this free information. And especially if you're reaching out for advertising, if you're doing affiliate deals, it's all right here in Alexa. Okay, next, so we've talked a lot about how to build traffic through off-page SEO, how to kind of do some research. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how to build backlinks here in a little bit. But just as important as building backlinks is you've got to look to set up your website in a way that search engines are going to like. That's search engine friendly. And search engines have these things called spiders. And spiders are essentially these bots that crawl and roam the internet, taking photos of websites and essentially using the data of those photos to rank them. So you've got to make sure that your website is spider friendly. And here are a few tips when designing your website to make it spider friendly. You don't want to use a lot of image menus or put your keywords in images or image-based buttons. Google has absolutely no way to currently scan those images to see what keywords are in them. I believe they say it's probably, the technology is probably 8 to 10 years away, but it's just not worth waiting on. So if you've got keywords on your website, make sure that they're in text and not in images. Second, navigation menus. The navigation on your website is incredibly important. You want to put menus at the top and bottom of every page. If you've just got menus at the top, your website is not going to have as good of a ranking. Another great way for navigation is to use what's called a breadcrumb menu. So that's when you categorize and break down your website pages into certain categories. So for example, if you have that Las Vegas house cleaning website, you might start with a home, then you might break that down into cleaning, then you might have several sub-pages like office cleaning, house cleaning. But keeping it categorized, keeping a breadcrumb on the top of your web page and keeping things categorized is very important. More about on-page SEO. Keywords. So we talked about keywords a little bit earlier. We talked about long-tail keywords. Now we want to make sure that your keywords are appearing in your web page in a way that the spiders are going to like. So essentially, the spiders are going to look at all pages on your website if your website is set up correctly, and they're going to assign rankings for certain keywords, and that each page, one page for example, might rank very good for Las Vegas house cleaning. Another might rank very well for office cleaning. And how Google tells the difference between which ranks for office cleaning versus house cleaning is based on a few different factors. The title of the page, the headings. So for example, headings are large base text, very bold text on the page. Alt text on images, essentially what that is when you take your mouse and you put your mouse over an image, it might tell you what that image is. That's a very important concept of design, is you want to make sure that you are putting, you're basically putting titles on your images, and you're naming your images specifically on what they are, because Google has no way to say, oh, that's an image of someone cleaning a house. They just simply don't have the technology. But if you're naming your image housecleaning.jpg, then Google's like, okay, yeah, this is an image about house cleaning. So, I mean, building your website is just as important as building those backlinks. Next, the importance of keyword-based text. So on each web page, you want to have not only photos, but you want to have text on there as well. Rule of thumb is to always have at least 100 words on each page. Ideally, it should be between 350 to 650 words. This is not just something that internet marketers use. This is actually something that Google itself has said, is to try and aim for 350 to 650 words on each page. And of those words, you want to have about a 1 to 3% keyword density. And essentially what that means is if you have 100 keywords, one of those words or 3 of those words should be your keyword. Okay. Lastly, don't hide keywords. So don't try to get around Google. Don't try to stuff keywords in here and there, and maybe make text on your website that the user can't see, but it's got keywords in at the bottom. Google has several ways to figure out how you're gaming the system, and essentially what it's going to be over the long run is it's going to be a penalty on your site, and you're going to get downgraded because of it. Okay, on-page SEO. Here's a few more tools and really tips to get good on-page ranking. You want to always supply fresh content on your website, and that starts really with a blog. If you've got a WordPress blog, go and post every so often. By rule of thumb, I like to post at least once or twice a month at very minimum, just giving some good 350 to 650 word articles with some photos on there that are relevant to my keywords. Secondly, RSS feeds. Now this is Larry was talking earlier about automation. This is a way to take automation and put it onto your website. If you have a Facebook page, you can actually take a feed of every status on your Facebook page and feed it right into your website using what's known as RSS. And if you've got a Facebook page you're posting on there, you can type in Google RSS feed converters. You'll simply paste the URL for your Facebook page into the converter, and it's going to give you the code to paste onto your website. and it will just always display new content on there. You can also grab RSS feeds from news sites as well. So that's a great way to get fresh content. Lastly, some things to avoid for on-page SEO. Okay, you want to avoid typos, grammar errors. Google actually does have a spell check. So if you've got a page with a bunch of errors on there, Google's going to downgrade your site and your ranking. 404 errors. Essentially what 404 errors are is when you go to a site and you click a link and it takes you to like a blank page or nothing available. So if you've got broken links on your page, whether they're pointing to your own site or someone else's site, it's going to downgrade your ranking. Image errors. If you've got a website where images aren't appearing, that's also going to be a real downside for Google. So just make sure everything is working on your site, and that will help you out a lot. Expired domains, we kind of covered that a little bit earlier. So backlinks. So we just talked about on-page SEO. Backlinks are what is known as off-page SEO, and just as important as on-page is off-page. So unless you have a backlink pointed to your site, chances are you're not going to have much, if any, traffic, and Google is probably not even going to find out about you. So you want to get inbound links from other sites. Essentially, you want to get links from other sites that are indexed. So an indexed site means that that site is appearing on Google. If you got a link from a site that's not appearing on Google, chances are Google's not going to recognize that link. Next, do follow versus no follow links. Now this is a little bit more technical for those of you who are doing code and know how to build a backlink. Inside the code of the backlink is going to say either do follow or no follow. Sometimes it might not say anything. You want to aim to get do follow backlinks. A no follow backlink is something that's written in the URL, right after the anchor text, essentially, that says, Google, don't follow this backlink, don't pass me any authority. So if you're building a lot of backlinks, open up the source code and make sure that there's no follows. And again, if you don't know how to get into HTML code and all this, don't really worry about this too much. This is more for those of you who know how to code.
All right, one more thing, backlinks versus no backlinks. One more time, define the differences and the advantages and disadvantages of each thing on SEO, because we're getting some of the people.
Backlinks versus no backlinks?
Excuse me, no follow versus follow. One more time.
Okay, so no follow versus do follow. So essentially what that is it's inside here. Let me see if I can actually type in this as well. Okay, so here's the basic structure for a backlink. Okay, right? You have your href, and then you've got the URL, HTTP, whatever it is, .com. Okay, and then you've got, after that, you've got your keyword, and then you've got the closeout. Okay, so this right here would be a do follow backlink. It does not say anything in your tags not to follow. Now, sometimes they'll put no follow in here, and that means basically on that site that keyword, that link, is not going to do you any good. So you can open up the code source on different websites and make sure that it does have or does not have no follow. Okay. So how?
Yeah, you got a question.
You another question?
Folks here. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So if you have a no follow, would you just delete it then?
Well, the thing is with backlinks is you're typically getting them from other people's sites, so you don't really have a choice. They're in control, so you can ask them to delete a no follow, but it's their decision.
So it's their choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how to increase links? Now you can increase links organically, or you can increase links by reaching out to other people. But essentially, it comes down to really good content. If you've got good content on your site, you're putting up new blogs, you're putting up fresh content, especially content that people can share, that people like, that people take and they share with their friends on Google. That's a great way to build backlinks. People are going to find out about that content. They're going to post it on their blog. At the end of the blog, there might be a link to your site. So that's really the best way to build links. Next is really you can target a list of sites which you can request links from. And earlier I covered that Traffic Travis, where you can actually open your competitor sites up, see where their links are at, and then go in and actually contact those domain name owners and see if they'll give a link to your site. Here's two things. Do not buy links and do not do black hat. Buying links has never been highly regarded, but people have done it anyways. I've done it myself. And Google's getting very, very good at tracking if you're buying links or not. Especially avoid any type of network online that is specifically tailored 100% about buying links or those buying links marketplaces. Google in the past few months has going around and taking them down one by one and penalizing every single site that's on there. So if they find you buying backlinks, they could actually remove your site permanently from Google. So don't bother with that at all. Do not do black hat. We covered that earlier. So that's like deceptive type of backlinks or deceptive type of ways to get traffic to your site. And what that could be is like you might have a pop-up on a screen, and the pop-up might be an ad for something totally unrelated, but it will get people to click it and bring people to your site. It's just a deceptive way to build backlinks or deceptive way to bring traffic. There's tons of ways to do it. Just don't do anything that would kind of be lying to your visitors or that's deceptive or anything like that. Where to get backlinks? Okay, so here are really what's hottest right now in SEO. This is what Google has reported. Well, Google it reports on what kind of is more favorable versus less favorable. Guest posting is a very favorable way to get backlinks. It's so hot that Google actually just released a video last week saying not to do guest posting, but it still is one of the best ways to work. As long as you're not using a marketplace for guest posting, like sponsoredreviews.com is one of the marketplaces. Avoid marketplaces, but if you reach out individually to a site owner to post for you, to post to like a little write-up, maybe 300 to 500 words with some photos, a write-up on your site, there's really no way that Google's going to find out that's not natural. Second, press releases. This is a great way to build up buzz and stir up buzz, especially for a new site. PR.com, PR Newswire. So if you've got something newsworthy, or if you've just launched your product, just launched your website, write up a good 500-word article and post a photo with some backlinks on PR.com. It's usually going to cost you anywhere from $30 to up to $300 for a good one. However, the reach with those press releases, if you've got a good press release, it could drive 80 backlinks to your site. So like, for example, PR.com, I know that distributes to like Yahoo News, New York Times, the Boston Globe, just distributes to all these websites that have very high authority. If you've got a backlink on the New York Times to your site, you're golden. That's going to provide you so much value. Just one backlink from a site like New York Times is going to be the equivalent for maybe getting like 500 or 100 backlinks from sites that don't mean anything. So it's a great way to start and promote your website. Next, create content that people will share. We covered that earlier. And lastly, this is actually a way that not many people know about, is actually using Yahoo Answers to build backlinks. So if you have a Yahoo account, they have that Yahoo Answers platform where you can go in and answer other people's questions. Now, after you've answered, I don't know, maybe it's 20 or 25 people's questions and got a positive response on it, Yahoo is actually going to let you post links on there. So not only is that it's going to be a great traffic driver when people are searching for your keywords, it's perhaps also going to increase your site authority as well. So Yahoo Answers is a great way to bring traffic to your website. Okay, what used to be hot for SEO? Article directories. This is like ezine.com or Ezine articles, where you would write an article, submit it to these article directories, and at the bottom of the article you might say, well, so-and-so is an expert at house cleaning. Go ahead and visit his site here, and it will have a link there. Google had caught on to these article directory sites. They still provide a little bit of value, but essentially not very much. The best ways would be to really focus on guest posting, press releases, Yahoo Answers, and just creating content that people will share.
Real quickly on I know Ezine articles, they got slapped or something.
recently.
They did.
A year or so ago, right?
Yeah.
So, in terms of articles overall, what if the articles are on a significant page that has a good PR rank? Then is there a difference then?
There's a difference between an article directory and a site that does not just post people's articles on there. If you've got a directory which is just submitted articles, which is just basically being taken advantage of for people to get SEO, and it's not going to be the same as if you're going to another site that's actually providing their own valuable content and might have just a few articles submitted from other people. So if you focus on those that aren't directories like eZine, but maybe focus on one that's similar to your niche and reach out to them and say, hey, you want to post an article for me? That's the way to go, not to go to one of these big marketplace sites.
So, for example, you had an article written on you on ESPN on the internet too, so that would be an example of something that's a huge page rank that you
well, essentially how that worked is I went to PR.com and I submitted a press release to let the world know about an expansion that was happening in my business, and then that expansion actually was sent. That expansion write-up was sent to the San Diego Union Tribune. It was sent to ESPN. It was sent to some local newspapers as well. And I had 3 newspapers contact me, as well as ESPN, about that press release, and they wanted to get more information. So I ended up getting backlinks from like the San Diego Union Tribune, ESPN, write-ups on them, all from just using that simple press release to start. So you don't necessarily have to go directly to the news source. Just use like PR.com, and that will distribute to all these places. Another way that used to be hot in directory submission. Really, directories were big before search engines were hot. Like Yahoo directory was basically where people would go before there was like Alta Vista days and before Google even existed. And so you're really wasting your time if you're going around and submitting to directories. Google just doesn't care about them. Google knows that no one uses them. They know it's a complete scam for people trying to manipulate and get the rankings. Yeah, it's the Netscape days, for sure. Next is signature links on forums. This is an all right way to get traffic or to get links. So, for example, you've got I've got an archery site. For example, I have a membership at a few different archery forums, and from time and time again, we'll have our outsourcers go into these forums and make posts. And at the bottom of their post is a signature, and that signature will have a link to our website. That will drive traffic and a little bit of authority. Again, though, that's not a great way to rely on, but it will provide a little bit of value. Okay. Link exchanges and reciprocal links. Big no-no. A lot of people used to do this when the internet got started. Essentially what a reciprocal link is, hey, if you give me a link to my site, I'll put a link on my site to your site. And Google knows about this. If you've got a lot of reciprocal links, your site's just really not going to go anywhere. Now, one exception to this rule is if you own 2 sites and you've got reciprocal links from one site that you own to another one, Google has expressed that is not going to hurt you. Next, link building software. Okay, so these are 2 of probably the very well-known software that a lot of internet marketers have used in the past, and these need to be used with extreme caution. Unless you have researched SEO a lot and know specifically from start to finish, I wouldn't recommend just jumping in and using software to build backlinks because it can severely hurt your rankings. SENuke.com, essentially what that is, it is a software that is going to automatically create websites for you, create forum memberships for you, create WordPress sites for you, create directories. I mean, it does everything. It will even create videos for you on YouTube, and not necessarily YouTube, but different video sites, and put links at the bottom of those videos. So it does really everything. But it's powerful.
Can I comment on SENuke? Yep. I personally know the developers of them from Canada, and SENuke is pretty phenomenal, and but it's a lot of work too. So what we're going to talk about tomorrow, actually, Rob, you're going to talk about too, is outsourcing. And actually, a lot of the things that Rob is teaching you today, we're going to talk about how you can get outsourcers to do this for you, so you can have the outsourcers use the tools. It's okay if you learn it or you want to do it yourself, but you can have outsourced for pennies on the dollar that we're going to show you some of the services we have that do it for you, so you can double turbo it, as I say, where you having the tool and you're having the VA use that tool for you too. And SE Nuke is, they've come out with a few different versions now. The nice thing about them is they're constantly updating the stuff all the time. They don't stay stagnant, that when Google changes whatever, you know, you buy a lot of software and it doesn't work anymore, or you try to use it on Facebook and Facebook somehow figure a way to not make it work. They're constantly playing the cat and mouse game where they're on top of the game all the time, switching and upgrading, and you get all the upgrades too for free too. So
yeah, like Larry said, the switching and upgrading, that's essential with link building. Is you've got to diversify. You can't just do all guest posting. You can't just do all of Yahoo Answers. You've got to diversify and try a lot of different things. At different times, Google's always changing how it ranks websites. And it also is looking for natural links. If they see that all your links are coming from Yahoo Answers, it's going to be a little bit sketchy to them. So what's great about SE Nuke is that they diversify, they change up the links that in the sites, in the platforms that they use to build their links on consistently. And that's why that tool is actually very helpful, very useful. But again, it needs to be used with caution. You've got to have some experience with it before jumping in, because it can hurt your site as well.
It's super
It has the power to create basically from 1,000 to 5,000 links to a site overnight. It's incredibly powerful, incredibly powerful. So second, Xroomer has the same power. It can create thousands of links literally overnight. And what I used to do is I actually used to set up my campaigns on SE Nuke. Actually, I'd have someone else for me overseas go and log into my computer, set up the campaigns for me. Then my computer would run SE Nuke while I went to sleep. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd check the reports, and it would tell me 400 new links to this site, 500 new links to this site, so on and so forth. So that's a really cool way to, go ahead.
So now if Google sees that you have like thousands of links come up like in a short period of time like that, like overnight, does that raise a red flag?
It does. So backlinking is something you want to do over time, and you don't want to start off with 0 links a day and the next week have 500 links come in. And
I know where the fine line is. I know Google keeps everything secret, so no one cracks the code, changes it. But
it really depends on how you're marketing. So, for example, Google knows the difference between a press release site versus a bunch of different WordPress blogs or a bunch of different forum links. So, if you've got a press release and you've got a press release that's then distributing 80 new links in a night back to you, Google's not going to be like, okay, that's not sketchy to them. But if they have 800 new forum links to your site, Google's going to be like, all right, this is really weird. So it really depends on where those links are at.
So one of the things too that I've learned is that one of the ways that you can explode it and they don't slap you is actually with YouTube videos, because they know how a video can be viral and passed around and it can explode with thousands of views within a day. And so that's something too that you can use, and actually a little magic secret bullet that a lot of people aren't aware of that's really huge and gets tremendous SEO ranking is actually what we're doing right now, and that's a Hangout. A Google Hangout will appear at the top of search engine rankings before anything else. If you were to go online right now and search home-based business bootcamp or something like that, and you could try that online, why don't you go ahead and open up a browser there, Rob, a separate tab or something too. I'll show you. Go to Chrome, open up a fresh tab on the right-hand side there, and that should probably show it as well. Yeah, and just type in home-based business bootcamp, just not all one word, just separate home-based, 2 words. Bootcamp or something like that too. Let's see what happens in the rankings there. There you go. Hit that. See what happens. Look at that. What's going on right there right now? That just appeared. Look, we were in the top 2 right away, and we just did that. What, like? Oh, there's
2 hours ago.
There's our fresh one that's happened right now, and there's in 5 days ago ranked Number one, number two, home-based business bootcamp. I mean, that's unbelievable, like instantly like that. So that just goes to show you that Hangouts, if you do Hangouts on your topic, why is that? Because they know that Hangouts have a lot of content, and also Google owns YouTube, of course, and so you've got a triple whammy. So you've got, because it's YouTube, it's video, right? Number two is it's a Hangout, it's a lot of content. Number three, it's obviously Google owns it. So that's a super ninja trick right there.
And also with videos, it helps to do your videos consistently as well. So as you do more videos and you've got a lot of likes, a lot of activity, a lot of comments, Google is going to give that channel more authority, and authority is going to also get yourself to the top. So Larry's had this channel for a while now. He's been posting Hangouts for a while now, in different videos, new content. He's got a lot of interaction on there. So that also helps him get to the top of Google as well.
Make this a little bit bigger here for you one moment. Oh yeah, that was better for you.
So XRumor is another type of software. Like XRumor is a pretty expensive software. I believe it's like around $1,000. SE Nuke you can get a free trial with for I think 14 days, and after that I believe it's about $147 a month. XRumor is a forum backlinking and commenting software. Again, it's definitely something you'd want to use with extreme caution, and you want to use it very lightly. You don't want to use it on a brand new site and build 500 links the next day. You want to use it in combination with other strategies and techniques and things of that sort. So.